online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, all of our Chasing Life fans. How are we doing tonight? It is episode 8, The Ghost in You. I'm Heather Gardner, and I'm joined tonight with...
Sam Davidson. Hey, guys.
It's just us tonight. But
Yes.
It's a good thing, though. It's a good thing.
We are going to have some awesome convos about this without the rest of them.
Exactly. And if you want to join us, please join in the conversation on Twitter. Just use the hashtag ABTV Chasing Life. And, of course, tag us.
Yes.
Let us know how we're doing.
Please
Let
do.
us know what you agree or disagree on. Because we always seem to disagree or agree.
I don't know. I think me and you have been on the same team.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And honestly, this episode, well, it was a really somber episode. It was deep. I mean, this show has been pretty deep, but I think this one was probably the deepest we've gone in the 2 seasons that we've had so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And April, the acting, like
She's incredible.
She's incredible.
Italia is amazing.
Italia Ricci is
very
amazing.
good.
And to me, I watched it twice, and I was like, God, I feel bad for Italia. Isn't that like how depressing, how sad? You just have to. All you do is cry.
Right. Yeah. There was a lot of crying. I mean, it opened right there with the funeral. We found out how Leo died. Definitely something neurological. Even though his cancer was gone, his tumor was removed. It was just an aneurysm, just a random spur of the moment thing. I think Brenna even mentioned it. Like, you know, he was healthy. He was free from cancer, free from the death sentence that he had, and yet still he died so suddenly. Like, death can come at any time. It's not just, you know, a death sentence if you have cancer. It's so sudden. In all aspects of life.
I mean, we don't really know the specifics
Right.
of Leo's health issues, but they were very bad.
Yes.
However, it did seem like a freak thing because the doctor never said, hey, watch out,
Right.
because this might happen.
He was in remission and he was getting checkups, and it was just one of those random things, which makes it, I think, that much worse for the characters. The parents were there, obviously, very heartbroken. April, of course. Gosh, she had mentioned it later on in the episode, too. Like, she laid there while he was dying. That's so heartbreaking. That's the worst. I mean, the last scene of last season, or last episode, was just really heart-wrenching, but then to see her like go through the process and go through her thinking process this episode was really, really difficult. I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it was heartbreaking and beautiful how they did it, though, when you see her wake up and find out, and then it's a lot of
get
shows, I do too, but a lot of shows, and not gonna lie, I kind of like this about other shows, that they skip the crappy stuff, and then it goes 3 months later.
Yeah, no, we're delving right into all the crappy stuff on this show.
Yeah.
We got to see Leo's funeral, which was a bit strange, I have to say. I didn't quite understand the drag queen reference. Was that a reference did he ever mention any of that before? I thought it was really random.
It seemed somewhat familiar to me. That person seemed somewhat familiar to me.
It's not a character, though.
But I don't know, because they had all those, group people that also had cancer,
Oh, true.
and it seemed familiar.
It was cool. It was totally cool to have the drag queen there singing Amazing Grace. A very touching moment. And then they released the balloons. It was just really so sad. And then they went straight into the wake where April's just a really blunt person in general. And she really... She's trying to compartmentalize everything, and she says that to that random guy who comes up and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You're being so strong." And she's like, basically, F you. My husband just died. I'm not being strong. Like, you know, I love that in her character. I just love how blunt she is. Even when she's mourning, she's still got to tell the truth. I like that about her.
She is, but she goes into these like phases. Yes. You know, if she's gonna be one way, that's the way that she is gonna be.
I don't blame her though.
I don't either. I mean, it's terrible, and her life also has an expiration date on it, and she, you know, we forget in this episode that she is also very sick and
is.
might die soon too. That's the
and that's one thing that they didn't even like mention. Like, she just talked about Leo's life and Leo's death, but she never like had a realization like, this could be my friends at my funeral. She never said that, which maybe they wanted to just focus on Leo's time. This was Scott Michael Foster's last episode. He's gone from the show now forever and ever.
well, they never say forever and ever.
Forever and ever. Well,
Okay.
he's dead. I mean, his character's dead. So his line is done. But I mean, that was interesting to me that she didn't ever have that realization that she could be next.
Right, and part of what I really wanted from this episode was for Leo to tell her from the dead that she should still fight, even though he isn't fighting
How
anymore.
did we think about Leo coming back from the dead? Because April, after the funeral, after the wake, she kind of goes into this mourning stage where she's just in bed. Understandably, we don't know how much time goes by, but a pretty significant amount of time. She says she can't go back to the apartment. She can't really function, really. She's just kind of in bed talking to her dead husband. For me, personally, I'm kind of always one of those realists. Like, this is a real show. These are real people. These are real lives. Like, I don't really necessarily like it when they bring people back from the dead to talk. Because that doesn't happen, in real life. I don't know. I don't ever really like it. I didn't particularly like it this time either.
I actually disagree.
Okay.
I did because I do believe in that stuff. Not that you'll roll over and he's going to be
your
there
dead husband.
looking and talking to you. Who knows what drugs, they slip to April to calm her down. We don't know.
We don't know.
It's ABC
This is
Family. They
true.
probably skipped that part.
Well, they did have a weed cookie at one episode.
Yeah, and that was like the furthest it went. And in Pretty Little Liars, they made like a whole like hashtag weed is the worst thing in the world.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
Of course.
So I feel like, April could have some Xanax on her. Maybe she also has, I don't even know what she's taking at this point for her cancer.
Yeah, who knows?
And we forget about it. And I was trying to explain to my mom tonight on the phone when she was asking me so many questions about this episode that time has passed a lot slower.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that part about how long it's been. But yeah, I mean, I think it was okay. I mean, like I said, I just prefer things to be real. Like, if it had been something like, if it had been like a narrator the whole time or like the whole show with that, but I don't like it when people come back from the dead. Like, just for like one episode or something, like the Grey's Anatomy thing. I don't like that kind of stuff. I just don't. So I didn't particularly like it, but it really was sweet though, especially when they found the scavenger hunt, which was kind of a P.S. I love you heartbreaking moment.
But when do we think that Leo wrote this exactly is my big question.
I think that the first letter said, if you're reading this, my doctor gave me like 6 months to live. So before he met April, because when they get the last letter, he reveals that he had never had love before, which was a really sweet moment. Yeah. But yeah, so before he met April, so 6 months. So really this whole 2 seasons has only been 6 months in the life of these people, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, 6 months, and he wrote it to be found after he died, and
he had it in his medical records, I guess. So
a little morbid, not gonna lie. Sweet, very sweet.
Yeah.
I think it would have been sweeter though, because I don't know. It was kind of a weak scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it wasn't really that exciting.
It really wasn't.
It was just almost to know that he would know from like the afterlife that someone loved him and cared about him.
And that really was sweet. When she actually did go to the tree and found the last one, that really was a sweet moment. And I think that in her mind was like letting it all go. Because the next morning afterwards, she wakes up, she's cheery, she's with her friends again. But yeah, I was hoping for something a little more romantic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it would have been cooler if he had written it specifically for her instead of someone who maybe loved me at some point. Like, I don't know. It was sweet. It really was sweet, though. It really was.
Well, because he was so focused on April.
Yes.
And her sickness and illness. And then it's life. It's terrible and completely heartbreaking. And I feel like she probably feels guilty for that.
I think anyone in that situation would feel would feel guilty. But someone else who feels really guilty, if we want to go into some little side stories of the episode tonight, Dominic feels really, really guilty.
I feel really bad for Dominic, you guys. Like, my heart hurt. It's such a complicated relationship. Boundaries with him and April. What is he supposed to do?
Now, was he at the funeral? I didn't.
Yes.
I was looking for him, but I didn't actually see him. But he was there. Okay.
He was there.
Okay. So he goes to the funeral, and April never knew. On their wedding day, April confronts Leo about the situation with Dominic. Obviously, they had that bar fight on the bachelor party. But April knows they got into a fight, but she never knew why. They never explained. Dominic says he loves you, he wants you back, that's why I punched him. Like, that never came out.
But she could probably assume that, not that he said I love you, but that it was something to that effect.
Yeah, maybe she could assume. I mean, who knows? She's, like you said, she's on a lot of drugs. But Dominic comes, and I knew it was coming because I really do think that the central, like, romance of the show will end up being between Dominic and April, even though right now, definitely not. But they always seem to be coming back to each other no matter what. They, he went off with Natalie. That didn't work. She went off with Leo. Sadly, that didn't work either, but they've always just come back to each other. So I really do believe that they're going to be like the central romance of the show. Not right now. Please, not right now. But so when he comes back, I was definitely expecting it. But she was just so mean to him.
I kind of liked what she said to him, though, because it was half true.
Okay, what?
It was bitchy, but it was half true. It was, we worked together and we dated for like a minute. And then,
That's so tough, though, because, like, that's so hard. Because you never know, like, especially in those situations where you're with someone but not for that long. Like, it's so hard for that power play. Do you know what I'm talking about?
But this,
it's whoever cares the least has the most power, which obviously in this situation is April. But, like, when you're in that situation, you don't know, who has the most power, who likes each other more. Obviously, it meant a whole heck of a lot more to Dominic than it meant to April. But April waffled back and forth for a long time, too, at the time,
Yeah, she's always known that she's loved him, I think.
On some level. At least as a friend.
Yeah.
But she kicked him out, which was really sad. And I think that Dominic... I think he showed up to be there for his friend, to clear his conscience, because the last thing that he did was punch her husband before they got married, and then she doesn't know this either, but he attempted to break up the wedding.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot on his conscience, especially now since the guy is dead. Like, that can mess a person up.
Well, I'm sure he's glad he didn't break up the
I thought you were
wedding.
gonna say I'm sure he's glad he's dead.
No, he is not glad he's dead.
Don't go there.
No, I think he's glad that he didn't break up the wedding, because that would have made him feel like an even worse person.
Yeah.
But this is kind of proving how much he really loves April. He just wants to be part of her life and wants to help her.
He has proven that time and time again, I feel like. Especially, I mean, the biggest testament of love in any relationship, I feel like, if you let it go, like, that's love. Because people are selfish, and people in relationships, like, if he had broken up that wedding, like, that's a very selfish thing to do, because he's only thinking about what he wants. He's not really thinking about what's good for her. But when he let her go, because she was like, oh, you changed your mind, why'd you come back? He didn't say anything. He's like, you're happy, I'm going to walk away, go get married. Like, that's a very selfless thing to do. He has proven that he loves her.
But he's also proven that he was kind of a dick when he left her in the hospital. Had cancer, and he's like, I'm so mad you didn't tell me. Like,
but that's not why he left. He left because she slept with Leo one day after they broke up.
Okay, whatever. She had cancer. That, to me, that is a move that you cannot forget. So what? He came back. So what?
So Leo did crappy things too.
He did, and I just would love to hear about that. I would love to hear Dominic apologize for that in the first place, because it was really
so far.
bad behavior. I don't think he specifically apologized for basically shaming her on her deathbed.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Whoa. Did April specifically apologize for practically cheating on her boyfriend?
I think she did.
I don't think she did. There is blame to go around, okay? A lot has happened in these 6 months between these two.
So much.
2
2 years worth, actually.
Oh, gosh, right? Either way, April kicks Dominic out of the house. It's really sad. But during the scavenger hunt, Beth, who doesn't know any about the situation, doesn't know that April basically told him off, she comes back, she calls him, and he comes, basically saves the day.
With tools in hand.
With tools in hand, and she starts to accept Dominic as a friend, obviously. That's all she can process. Hopefully they let it draw out, because that'd be really kind of skeezy of April to just jump into someone's arms. But yeah, it was good. The episode ended really well with, obviously Beth wasn't going anywhere, but the fact that she's accepting Dominic, she's forgiven him. And she's going to try to live her life with her friends, which I think she absolutely should do.
But what's unfortunate, I thought at that moment, that Natalie couldn't be there because it's so awkward because she dated Dominic.
It's so awkward. Yeah, Natalie has not really been a very central part these last
I love
few
Natalie.
episodes. I like Natalie
I really, really like her.
But her storyline is kind of fizzled. You know what I mean? Because she was connected to Dominic, so she was in a lot of episodes with Dominic because obviously the Dominic-April thing was still happening. But now she's just kind of meh. She's just kind of not around anymore.
I want her to be.
I want her to be too. I really like her a lot. Also, what happened in this episode, Brenna and her little man crush.
Yes. We love this man.
We love this man crush. Do we remember his name?
I'm going to look it up right now.
Okay, you look it up. She has an interesting conversation with him. Obviously, their little romance is budding. She revealed last episode that she has feelings for him. However, she's trying to hold them back in because he is very, very sick. And she also revealed this episode that she donated stem cells, which is what he said that he received. We know that
it's
his and hers, but they don't know that yet, which is going to be really exciting. But that seed has been planted, so I'm sure it's going to come up at some point. But she tries to help him. He lost his leg. I don't think we knew that before. Did we? Did he?
No, we did, I
amputee?
think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we knew.
I must have missed it. But he's an amputee, and he just wants to be a normal kid. He wants to be a normal 16, 17-year-old, tries to go to the track. They have a really sweet scene, and it's a blossoming little romance.
I love them.
Did
and
we find out his
so
name?
cute. Sorry, I'm still looking.
Okay, no problem. But he is cute. I mean, it was a really short scene anyway.
Oh, God. Okay, it's going to drive me crazy. I'm going to have too much
Isn't
ADD
it
looking for...
Finn?
No, Flynn.
Flynn?
Maybe it's Flynn.
Flynn?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I forget.
Sorry, guys.
He hasn't been in a few
But
episodes.
you know what? I'm obsessed with him, so I'm going to figure this out, and I will let you all know.
Also, one other big piece to this episode was April's clinical trial.
Yes.
She did not get in the one that Beth helped set up through the pharmaceutical rep. Farkas?
Yeah, I had forgotten that she had done that.
I know,
what
right?
a good friend.
I know. So she ended up not getting in that, and that was a really tough scene, especially for Sara. So George went in on April's behalf, which I thought was really strange that April wasn't there. I thought that was really strange.
I mean, are they supposed to be? Because does that make it too close?
I have no idea. But the mom knew that Sara wasn't supposed to be there, and she was. So who knows? I just thought it was really strange that she wasn't there. But I thought that the doctor's analysis using the Titanic was really, deep and very, whoa.
I know. That's how I was exactly the same way.
I was like, damn.
That is a really great way to think about it. And then Sara just whipped back at her and threw that lifeboat in there. Another one.
Well, the person who really saved the day, though, was Farkas. Because he's like, she said, we can't put you in this trial. Basically, hell's no. Not my problem. I'm leaving. And then he's like, but wait, there's another one. So we don't know if she gets in yet, but I'm assuming that she will. That's my prediction. She's gonna get in. So yeah, shall we get on to official predictions?
Official, yes.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I'm gonna let you start it off, Sam.
Okay.
Where to begin?
Man.
There's a lot.
Man. Okay. I think that, and they should for scenes for next week, that April is going to do something she feels guilty about.
Feels guilty. I watch it the day after, so I never get to see. I always miss it on Monday, so I watch it today in the afternoon. I never get to see the preview, so I never know what's happening.
So it shows her feeling guilty, and then it flashes Dominic. However, they like to trick us, those ABC family people. And if Dominic is endgame, I don't think that they would really
delve into that right now.
I really hope not, because it's just kind of tacky.
It is tacky.
And also, I just want to say, I read an article with the showrunner, and she was interviewed, and it was talking about Leo's death. And how it was kind of either them just writing him off and it not working out between him and April versus him dying. And it was really fascinating what she said. It was just like she didn't feel as though April's character was going to develop enough. And, you know,
What do you mean, like, not develop enough?
like, he had blood and oil. So if they wrote him off and just said it didn't work out, it just kind of would have left her not really accomplishing anything by marrying him. Really nothing.
If they divorced.
Yeah, it would have
True.
just been stupid.
I agree with that. I had said all along it was stupid.
I know. And it's just like, gosh, it's really upsetting. I hate that I was right a few weeks ago. I've never been so angry about being right. Ever.
That he died.
Yeah, that he died.
Yeah.
I said it. This one over here.
Well, what else did the showrunner say? That's really interesting.
You know, she said that it was obviously kind of not forced, but that they had to, you know,
somehow get him off
Scott
the show.
Foster had to leave the show, but it's just going to make her kind of a more dynamic character. April.
I absolutely agree because, I mean, she's been staring down death's door since episode 1 for 2 years for us, but for 6 months for her, she's been literally knocking on death's door, but she hasn't experienced it yet. And then here, the person who she loves the most in the world, she's the happiest that she's been in spite of her cancer, and then bam, this bomb, you know, and she's got to figure out A, how to find the will to live without her husband. B, how to find the will to fight through her cancer. You know, because as much as Leo was her husband and her lover, he was also her support system.
Yeah.
And he was that person who was always going to bring her back from that dark place that she often went into of oh, I'm going to die of cancer, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. He was always that person who was going to do that. So I think this is really, really going to make her a much stronger person, which is good. And I really do hope that I've been Team Dominic for 2 years now, okay? I love Dominic. But I really hope that ABC and the showrunners and April can just find herself as a woman, you know? Because I feel like she's been attached to a man one way or another this entire season, but why can't she and her mother and her sister and her grandmother and her solid girlfriends, like, get her through this, you know?
Yeah.
Why not?
I agree, and I hope that's the direction they're going to go on, as opposed to her hopping into
right
Dominic's
Please don't do
arms.
that.
Yeah.
I love Dominic. I do. Endgame, sure. Just not right now.
Yeah, too soon. So, as for next week and the next few weeks, it also showed in the previews that she's going to be partying, having some fun. I totally understand that, you know, and she says in the preview she just wants to, like, not feel this way.
Yeah.
So she's
I get it.
going to be doing that, and also probably is going to get that clinical trial.
That's my prediction. I do think she's going to get the clinical trial because if she doesn't, she's probably dead, and, well, hopefully there's a third season. But,
Yeah. Maybe it'll be in heaven with her and Leo.
No, please don't go there. Remember that thing about reality? Don't go there. Even
guys.
she's shaking her head. No.
Sorry.
No.
Dark.
I do think that April's going to get the clinical trial. I think they glossed over it, as they like to do, about the whole secret family thing between April and Natalie and Brenna's dad. Of course, we know last episode, George shredded, and he got really, like, antsy when Sara brought up, like, oh, there's a manuscript, and he's like, well, did you read it, you know?
Yeah.
So there's something in there that he obviously does not want anybody to know. He knows something. I cannot wait for that mystery to be unraveled as we go forward. So I'm hoping that they...
Oh, sorry, that was also something that was in the interview, is that the showrunner said that the father will be seen, whether it's a flashback or not, that
He's been seen before.
But we're going to have more scenes with him before the end of the season, whether that's a flashback or
I think he's alive, to be completely
honest.
honest.
I do too.
Absolutely, especially since George being so shady.
Well, what if he is really April's bone marrow, or not bone
father?
No, I know it's her father, but the person that could give his blood, or not blood, but bone marrow, or something.
I thought Natalie was already the person.
She was, but what if but she wasn't a perfect match. Like, what if he is, and he could just completely fix everything and come in? I don't know.
That'd be awesome.
That's kind of a new prediction that's just come to me. Who knows?
I just want to know more about the mystery, to be honest.
Me too.
So.
I like that there is one.
Yes, me too. It makes it better. It's not so depressing. There's something to
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is kind of a depressing show, so little
Yeah.
things like that.
Yes,
Big
exactly.
mysteries.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. All right, tell us what you want to see. Remember to use the hashtag ABTV Chasing Life. Sam, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
You guys can find me, Sam Davidson, on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43 and online at SamDavidsonEntertainment.com.
And you can find me Twitter, Instagram, sometimes Snapchat. I'm like hardly ever on it, but it's Heather G TV and Heather Gardner TV.TV. And remember, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, make sure you comment, give us thumbs up on YouTube, download us, all that fun stuff. ABTV Chasing Life. Guys, we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.